Good morning from Seoul, South Korea. How are you guys? It is Friday morning. I had to double check. Friday morning, June 7th here in Seoul, a day after a holiday. And I am coming to you live this morning from Bukchon Hanok Village in this beautiful, beautiful Hanok owned by, I would say, I don't want to say friend because really somebody I really respect. So Sambe, Oppa, if I want to be cute. And absolutely loving it because I was just trying to think, had I ever stayed in a Hanok? You guys, if you're just tuning in, I'm in a Hanok. Say hello. And I'm in I'm in the living room because it's 8:30 here. So guess who's still sleeping? Yeah, my son and husband. And I was like, husband, don't come through this door because everyone's going to see you on the live. Just saying. There's many different entrances and I'll do my best to show it off because I really want to show it off. It's a brand new Airbnb. And so in the middle is like this madang, right? This patio, and you walk in just like you see in the K-dramas. And then everything's, I would say all the rooms are tied together except one, which is where my son's staying. So I am in a Hanok and I love it in the center of the city in the most, say, historic area. And it's super awesome. So hello guys. Where are you guys dialing in from? Tell me. And you know where I am. It is 8:30. It's probably the earliest I've done a live. Just saying, like Korea time, people don't start till 11. So, but I wanted to match the time with the East Coast and the West Coast. So tell me where you're coming from. I didn't even have my coffee yet. That's how important you guys are, and I wanted to be on time. So I'm so glad you joined. I wanted to tell you guys how much, because I don't think I really got to come to you live in a long time. I think it was like last month, maybe last May or April. So I wanted to say hello because I missed you guys. So that's all I wanted to do. I'm just kidding. No, I have a lot of updates. I'm kidding. I have lots of updates for you. And I was going to share a little bit about what's been going on and connect. Because when I do these lives, just so you know, even though I talk about updates, and I want to get you excited because I was getting tons of DMs going, what is it about? You guys can guess. Some things that I'll update you on. Some of you already guessed, but really to connect. At the end of the day, you're my community. I need to connect. This extrovert needs to connect. But also, even if you're not an extrovert, you need to connect, okay? So really important to make that effort. So even doing a live, I want you to tell you, oh, downtown Los Angeles, hello, Alabama. See, I get distracted. Minneapolis, yes, thank you, 6:35 p.m. Sanford, Florida. Yeah, it's starting to feel like Florida weather. Yeah, it gets like that. It's really nice. Boom, summer weather, really hot, but it's still cool in the evening, so it's not quite summer in Korea yet. But great, I'm just seeing where everybody's down. Gainesville, Virginia, oh, that's kind of my neck of the woods. North Carolina, my neck of the woods, yay! So I am the guy. So you know what? Here's the thing, guys. I'm going to share this. The connection, the belongingness, the chung. With inside jokes, if you see me looking at this, because I am so used to speaking and then looking at like chats if I'm virtual, is the bond of having met some of you guys, now more of you guys, after 4 tours and 5 book events. I've officially met a lot of my followers. I'm going to say a lot. Okay. Not everybody, obviously, but enough to feel like if you saw me again or you made these comments, you know, like kind of like that inside joke is so special. So I just had to say that because there was an inside joke there. I will call that out. If you want to do another inside joke, feel free. I will start with giving you an update on what I've been up to. Specifically, you saw me, whether it's in person or on the platform, talking about my book events. Well, I just had an update with my publisher a couple days ago. And you know, it's always, because at the end of the day, I'm selling books, right? You guys have really supported this book. Thank you. This book is going to go to my uncle who I'm seeing this weekend. And I think it's really important to share that thanks to you, the publisher, because at the end of the day, they're kind of my boss when it comes to the book, are super thrilled is what they said. They go, we're so thrilled. We knew your book would do well, but you had a very, very successful launch because they're looking at numbers. I know about the idea about the numbers, okay? And they're really happy with it. That next steps are in the works. For instance, audio book. Now, not every author gets an audio book. So there's some steps to kind of maneuver that, and then translations. So again, navigating through all of that, but the great thing is moving forward. And so I wanted to thank you guys live first for all your support. Getting the book, reading the book, I still would love reviews, but whenever people write them, it's like nerve-wracking. Very nerve-wracking post-book, right? Going, oh my God, what do they think? And did I even make sense? And then when people are like, oh, I really like at the Soul book event or the ones after, I think in DC, I really like what you said in this chapter. I'm like, well, what did I say in that chapter, right? Considering I read it so many times and wrote through it. But I wanted to share one thing in some of the learnings that I've had recently is authenticity, your authentic voice. Sure, you've heard that before, but it's just a reminder in everything I'm doing to have the voice of what I'm doing. So when I was writing this and this question came up, and I don't know if you guys know this, but do you know the first draft, the copy editor who I absolutely adore was like, so, and I saw her hemming and hawing because I was in Korea, we were on Zoom and I'm like, what? Like, it's awful. You hate the book. She goes, no, you have the content for sure. She goes, more than enough content, but your voice is not in it at all. And I was like, huh? She's like, I don't even hear Jeannie Chang's voice. And I went, really? And then I went, what do you mean? I talk from an I perspective. She goes, no, you took out like your, I guess in some sense, personality. The reason why I'm sharing that is that's the first draft of the book that I went, oh my goodness, why did I take out me? I wrote it from a very clinician standpoint, the first draft. She was like, no. She goes, sure, we could do that, and that could be the book, and it could be self-help and personal growth, but we need your voice. Like, you took that out, and that's what makes you Nuna's Nunchi. I'm reminded of that because this was early, when was this? Oh my goodness, 2023? Was it 2023? It was just 2023 that when I rewrote it, I let go of any, I would say, inhibitions of writing the book for you guys. Yes, it's dedicated to you, but I was writing it for you, going, okay, are they going to like this? And then so I had to just backtrack and write it for me and write it from my voice of why I'm passionate about it. So I'm hoping you hear my voice. I mean, that's actually the second draft, right? I went back in and I went, okay, take out everything that I was trying so hard to sound impressive and put Jeannie Chang back in. Why am I sharing this? Well, because that is a lot of the learnings of today. I still will turn to a K-drama to help me through something. And so a lot of the updates today after the book events, thank you so much. They're wonderful. And then there's going to be more. Okay, right off the bat, let me tell you. Houston, Los Angeles. Oh, there might not be a book event in Los Angeles. I'm there for a conference. Then Austin. Then, because I'm basically coinciding my book signings and events with conferences that I'm speaking at. And then I head to Atlanta, where I'm also doing quite a few actually public events. So I'm supposed to head to Toronto. There's some folks waiting for me in Toronto, but not until after my fall tours, mainly because they organized it. The organizer's like, I think we need you in Toronto for like 2 weeks. I was like, what? So I'm going to be going when I have more time because of the things that they're excited for me to do. So I'm going to be like a Canadian, like in early November. Stay tuned on that. And then adding potentially New York City again. Now, there are other cities in the works. It's just, again, just so you guys know how a book event works, is getting a host organization. Someone that's going to host me and, host the platform. Host the community, which isn't easy to do. So that's how this works. If you are interested, let me know. But those are the cities so far where I actually have events and then planning book events around that. Hello from Florida. I know it's too cold, but apparently there's lots of stuff going on and universities wanting me to speak, so I had to coordinate that. It's okay, I can handle the cold. No big deal. It's all good, as long as we're not snowed in. But, okay, so that's the first update. Thank you for my book. Second one would be the actual big announcement. Yeah, let me pull up my notes. I have my laptop in front of me. The second big announcement, or the main big announcement, are the tours. Yes. So I am announcing shortly after this, because I could say the dates now, and it's like you guys are right. No, the live is more for me to connect with you and to share a little bit about how next year's tours will look. Yes, of course, there are going to be tours next year. The dates, we are releasing the dates today after this. So stay tuned on the dates. And in a good old Jeannie Chang fashion, Nuna's Nunchi fashion, yes, there will be more tours. So it's like, can I handle that? But that's what I'll talk about. So there's going to be more tours. You've seen the announcement already. We are going to have, I would say now, the classic OG, of course, K-drama tours. And how we do those tours, just so you know, They are customized itinerary, meaning we have our go-to spots, but we will change things like add Lovely Runner if it's the hottest new K-drama and we're all loving it. So that can obviously turn things topsy-turvy because I like doing that. I'm not risk averse, by the way. So I'll be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I have to see those sites. So we're going to change this entire city. But we made it work. So for the June tours, at least for now, and even the fall tours, those are the sites we're going to see. Lovely Runner, some of the latest new K-dramas like Marry My Husband, stuff like that. You got to see the latest K-dramas. That's how these tours work. Based on the K-dramas, the hit K-dramas. You want to see those sites, right? And then next year's tours will be the OG K-drama tour, Meet You in Korea. And of course, we will have Meet You in Korea, Jeju Island. So those are, I would say, the tours I'm going to announce for now, because there will be more tours coming. I'm trying to, here's the thing, just so you know, on the back end, there's a lot of administrative work to launch the tours. If you are a tour if you have been a tour participant, yes, you will get priority access. However, the access is limited because, I mean, if you know the amount of DMs and texts I get and stuff like that, like how many of you guys want to be on a returning tour? I love it. Makes me feel so good, but then also overwhelming going, okay, so they want a reunion tour. We're trying our best to make it work, but for the Meet You in Korea Classic OG, and then also the Meet You in Korea Jeju, which is Seoul and Jeju. And once you get here, everything's included. You are being well taken care of. It takes some, I would say some logistics. So those are the 2 tours I'm announcing. We're going to have 3 of each. 3. So 6 tours total of that. And then more, which I will announce in spurts. I would start saying, I think I'm looking at the schedule next week, so I'll announce some more. Okay? Is that good for you? Is Jeju part of the Seoul tour separate? Jeju and Seoul are together. Yes. So there is Seoul and then the multi-city tour, the K-drama tour some of you guys have already been on with obviously new K-dramas. And this is for next year. And dates are new. And then we will have the Seoul and Jeju tour. So it's Meet You in Korea, Jeju. We're adding Jeju, but Seoul is obviously where we all fly into and start there, right? And then we end up in, I would say, Jeju. This is all 2025. 2024 is closed. It is all sold out. Can't make any changes. We still get inquiries. I wish I could, but people have, booked their flights. It's all good. It's going to be awesome, and we're constantly changing things. Okay, I'm constantly changing things depending on what the latest thing is that honestly I want to do, and I'm like, we want to include it. Going, oh my God, we got to go to this. This is where Sunjae confessed his emotions to Imsol, and I'll talk about that drama in a second. So yeah, that's what's going on. Okay, so we are going to show and post those dates so you see it on the tours account. So please follow the tours account. That's where everything's going to go. Because I like to not always blur the lines with both accounts, because obviously it's all about the tours, and then I want to really emphasize mental health. That said, let me know if you have questions. Prices will be different. Yes, the prices we'll share that. Okay, so I'm going to give you I'm looking at the timeline. We will announce the dates. We'll announce more dates, and then the link will be live by the end of the month. So I need to get through the June tour because I'm on the June tour, and it's gonna be so much fun. But then we will go, you'll know when the link goes live, you'll know, and that's when you can register for next year. The cost has, of course, increased. I'm just gonna be honest. The cost has, of course, increased because Korea is just popular. So we're matching what makes sense. But I don't like having different pricing. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like, Jeju technically can be a little bit more expensive because the flight to Jeju is included. But I want to say, I don't want to be like, hey, let's up this. No, everything's the same. We wanted it to be simple, and you know that we do our best to include a lot of things. Just ask my previous tour participants, and I hope they can vouch for that, because that's very important to me to include everything. Oh my gosh, someone just opened the door and I was like, who's opening the door? It's my husband. Yeah. He doesn't want to say hi right now. So anyways, that is that. Okay, let me move on to deep diving Lovely Runner. Okay, so Lovely Runner was confusing at times for me. Okay? Like I watched it in between my busy traveling back and forth. And then half the time in Korea, so then no subtitles sometimes going, what timeline are they in, right? The Tours account is called Nuna's Nunchi Tours. Thank you. Let me answer my questions. The book is available in Australia. Yes, it's available everywhere. Depending on where you are, it's even available to order in Korea. I had a good friend of mine who I signed his yesterday. And yes, we put a lot of thought in the tours. Actually, sorry, I'm so sorry. I did want to add, I'll end with a deep dive. I am starting a workplace series, and this has a lot to do with my work on the tours. Let me explain. I want to share that it's so funny. You guys see me as Nuna's Nunchi, but the majority of the day-to-day, I am a business owner. I'm a business leader. I'm actually a mental health, workplace mental health expert. So the talks I do for corporations, much of my work is with corporations, sometimes community organizations and nonprofits like universities, but mainly corporations. I'm corporate all the way because that's just the space I've been in and it's my clientele. I'm constantly talking about workplace mental health. I'm talking about grief in the workplace, trauma in the workplace, identity in the workplace. I have been through some things recently, to be fully authentic, and not just recently. I'm going to say you guys have met me when I was going through things. And I would say the last few years, it's so funny. I talk about workplace mental health and tried and true practicing what I teach, of course, but I don't share about it. I realized, wait a second, because I am the expert, I'm talking from the expert lens and educating. A lot of my work is educating. I don't get to bring in, I don't really self-disclose. It's not appropriate sometimes. Sometimes it is. But then I had an epiphany about 10 days ago when I literally was talking to a corporation. This is Zoom. It was overnight, okay? And I remember just something came out of my mouth that was about psychological safety, which means exactly what it sounds like. But it's not just being safe and feeling safe and seen in the workplace. It's about being able to be yourself in the workplace, being able to show your identity in the workplace, being able to admit mistakes and ask questions in the workplace. If you have a workplace where you can't ask questions because you're scared of, I don't know, the response, or they're like, or they might go, oh, why is Jeannie asking this question? Then you're not in a psychologically safe workplace. Just an example. So I was explaining it and I was having such a good discussion. It was like 100 some people on the call. And then I had an epiphany going, you know what? I want to share what it's like doing what I'm doing in like different countries, basically Korea and the US. Because if you don't know, technically I have 3 companies. I would say Nuna's Nunchi at this time takes more physical time. But your change provider, my bread and butter, what clients know me as, is really the core of my work, which is mental health in the workplace, in the community, in schools, and I am trying to change workplace culture, transform it. So I am in the transformation space. But as I'm, as people are sharing about my book, as I'm at book events, as I'm experiencing these difficult things as a business leader, I'm like, I want to share this. Ooh, let me turn off this off. I want to share how important it is to have these takeaways that I'm learning to share with you. So I'm not just sharing my story. I'm not just going to tell you these things. I'm going to share takeaways of what you can apply. And let's be clear, I am a Korean American female. So a lot of the dynamics are because I'm a female. I didn't want to admit it. I was like, is it because I'm a woman? Then I went, you know what? Yes, it is. And I empower women. So that is why I'm starting a workplace series. TikTok is not my favorite, but you are able to do long form content. It's also going to be on YouTube. I can't do it on Instagram where I can talk 3 minutes and plus, unless it's alive. So that is why I'm doing that. Again, for your takeaway, for you guys to walk away and go, Jeannie talked about these 5 steps. The epiphany came when I was talking about something that I was doing, something I wanted the leaders to do. And I went, wait a second. I need to do this too. I'm going to share about it. And that's how that came about. Recently there was some adversity in my workplace. Yeah. And so I had to make some tough decisions. Thank goodness for support of a team. At the end of the day, when you have to make tough decisions, you need support because you also want to make sure it's the right decision. But, it came about in an explosive way. Some of you guys may know. There's some tour people here, and there's some tour people I've gotten very close to that know that, it got explosive. So I don't want that for you guys, meaning don't hold it in for months and months or years, maybe in my case, and then it explodes because that's not healthy either. And that's actually not my style. The Jeannie Chang style is not to do that, but I'm quite not myself in a foreign workplace, Korea, it is foreign to me, right? And it's so funny. As much as I understand the culture, there's things I have to, it's very nuanced. That's actually in my next book. Let's just say it that way. I was like telling the publisher, by the way, I have ideas for 2 more books. And they love to hear it, of course. But yeah, just understanding the cultural nuances. When I have to use that, turn on that nunchi like on high gear to go, wait a second, what did I just miss? What just happened? What am I saying wrong? Or what should I say? All about your eyes, right? You're observing verbals and nonverbals. Wanted to share that with you, and so I hope you get the most out of it. I will start it soon after this holiday weekend in Korea. Once my son leaves, basically, we're with him. He'll leave on Monday, and so yeah, more books. I know, of course, the publisher's like, so I was like, okay, let's discuss that later. I want to get through this K-drama book and get it translated. So I wanted to share about that. Okay, so it's been happy. And at the same time, extremely difficult, but you can have those two, if you read my book, polar opposite emotions, where you absolutely love what you're doing, but then you detest some things. And that's kind of what I will say is my experience, right? Overall, the joy trumps it. And then I'll also share, I have to stick to my core values. No, you're not going on my tour with me? He's got stuff to do. No, my son is... yeah, he did not leave much food in Korea. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's shocking how much he's eaten. Yeah, literally, I'm working to pay off our food bills in Korea. Yes, workplaces in the U.S. differ from between the U.S. and Korea, of course. And I knew this as an executive coach. I work with many global leaders, and you hear about Asia, like people in Singapore, very different than people in China or people in the U.S. So I know this. And so now, as I know this, you will get some of my learnings. And that epiphany at like, what time was it? It was like 2:45 a.m. where I actually took a pause and people were like waiting because I went, oh my goodness, I am going through this. I need to share this. Yeah, but it's good stuff. Okay, let's talk about, I'm talking longer than I actually planned, of course. I would love to talk about Lovely Runner. So, Lovely Runner is all the rage also here, okay? I will have a conversation in my Konglish. It's actually getting more better. In fact, I made some mistakes. People are cracking up. I don't care about mistakes anymore. I gotta speak my Korean and talk about K-dramas. But as I'm getting nails done, for instance, or hair done, or I don't know if I was at a cafe or something and brought up conversations, I'm like, are you watching Lovely Runner? Or in Korea, just so you guys know, do you know the literal term of the Korean title is upgo, so like Sunjae, like carrying Sunjae on my back and running. Or like jumping or whatever, And so it's literally putting Sunjae on your back is the term of the Korean title. A Lovely Runner, it's not Lovely Runner exactly, right? So all you have to say is, are you watching Sunjae? I don't even finish the sentence. They're like, yes, right? Men and women. Except this hairdresser of mine, he didn't. He was like, yeah, what's the big deal? I think you need to watch it. And of course they will. But it's not because they didn't want to. It's just they're busy. But everyone, just like Queen of Tears, was watching this one, but the reaction was different. So just as you guys are having the same reaction, so are they. And of course, I ask why, and they tell me exactly what you guys say. So I'm going to share from a mental health perspective, but I want to tell you the thought is the adorableness of Hyun-woo-seok, right? The actor. And also I want to say the actress, because I'll bring in the actress going, I love her too. In fact, she's technically what hooked me in. I absolutely adore her personality. Love the acting on both of them, but I just wanted to give her credit as well, because definitely he stood out. Don't forget, majority of the audience of Korean dramas are female. So Sunjae, the character, and the actor has gotten more attention because of that. But, and then they have absolutely explosive chemistry. The chemistry is really important. And I actually like to say, because I was talking to somebody about this, I talk a lot, by the way, yeah, in person. And I love the chemistry of people on my tours. That's how I explain it. It's like you meet, there's instant chemistry because you have a shared experience or you're there for the same goal, the tours, and also the inclusion of knowing me. And that's the chemistry. So it's like all those feels come out, just like when you're watching a K-drama where you're seeing that chemistry, but you're also seeing the chemistry, and I want to bring this out. If you watch any of his interviews, because here's the other thing in Korea, people get so obsessed, hence the pop-up stores, that they don't just watch the drama, they will watch everything pertaining to the drama, like everything on YouTube. I'm cracking up listening to people going, yeah, did you see his latest YouTube? Did you see the behind the scenes? I'm like, I'm so far behind with this particular one just because of my busy schedule. I basically watched the K-drama and a couple behind the scenes. They're like, oh my gosh, he said this on You Quiz on the Block, or, you know, like on this reality show. Then he said this, and then they said this, or they're both on it. The whole point is, it was the all-encompassing effect of the actors, actually, that made the portrayal so powerful. This is where I want to share in real life. He has shared, and she shared a little bit more professionally in her interviews, but he has shared how much he was emotionally attached to this character. I think we saw that. I think that's why it resonated. I think the tears were very much real, right? They're acting, but they came out legitimately so real because he felt so connected to the character and just really enjoyed the overall love romance. I think that's really important. I think that's why it resonated so well. So that's why acting, I mean, it's acting, but in this case, it really shined through how much he enjoyed the character. I'm looking at my notes. I'm going to share one main thing of why I think it was very powerful. People are saying it's their favorite K-drama of all time. My Mister has still not trumped My Mister because of how it's resonating with me. I definitely enjoyed it. It's probably maybe hit my top 20, but I don't know. I had to think about it because, by the way, I have to rewatch them. Like episodes 6 to 9, I still was like, what's happening? It got a little confusing because I watched it in between traveling and I'm like, wait, did she go back in time again, right? But it kept you on your toes because you're like, wait a second, I got to really focus on this. But it did really a great job of tying in nostalgia. Dun, dun, dun. So the nostalgia mic drop. That's the first thing that came to mind. You are watching this because I'm thinking my experience. So everything relates to how I'm feeling that I'm trying to translate it from a mental health perspective. Nostalgia is very powerful. I share about nostalgia as raising young kids and how different they are, right? Or how different it's become. I'm like, oh, look at them now. Oh, but the good old days when they were so cute, right? Nostalgia. Nostalgia generally relates to emotions in a very fond way, a very memorable way, very, I would say, reflective. And there, of course, nostalgia where you could get stuck and you want to go back in that time. That's not what I'm talking about, and I want to make sure you balance that. Don't get stuck in the past. You can't change the past. Definitely can't change the past. But you can definitely, except in a time travel story, but you can't, but you can reframe the past. You can reframe your perspective on how you look at something that's happened that's not pleasant. But overall nostalgia, as it connects to psychological well-being, social well-being, emotional well-being, your mental health is meant to be evoking a very positive response. And that's why it's okay to feel nostalgic when you're watching a K-drama. We saw a high school romance, we saw a college romance, and we saw workplace, like current day. I think they said 2023. And I think that's so cool that we got to see all that. And it just didn't stay stuck in one time period. So I think that made it exciting and confusing on the different plots. But what I really liked was that feeling, that emotion, and the grandmother. So someone asked me on my channel, was the grandmother the time travel, or like, did she go back in time? I mean, I can't even answer you that. Like, I just know that she was a critical, symbolic, I would say, state of mind in how her presence was there with the watch, right? By the way, you can have Chung, affection, belonging, affinity to an object. So this is where the yellow umbrella, the Casio watch that everybody's buying in Korea, okay, like just saying, or making in Korea, you get attached to. It brings back the memory of Sunjae. It brings back Imso's, the whole, like the watch, the power of the time travel, the K-drama, and the yellow umbrella, which was so iconic. All of that evokes this beautiful emotion. And so nostalgia is all about memories. And your memories, as the grandmother pointed out astutely, if you remember that scene, very, very, very powerful. I do have personal and some professional experience with dementia where I helped some clients deal with dementia, like they're taking care of their dementia and Alzheimer family members. But I see it in real life. You will see dementia patients or family members remember certain things. They may forget you. Like my grandmother had no idea, my maternal grandmother had no idea who I was, not even her kids, nobody. But you know what she remembered? and she has a beautiful voice. She remembered a song, La Mona, that she would sing if we asked her to the very end of her, to the very time that she died, which was, I'm drawing a blank, like 2011. She would sing it, and from the get-go, from the memory, and we're like, clearly, the reason why you remember that is the emotion you feel from a memory. You recall it here, but you're really feeling it here. So all of that lovely runner, everything from high school, seeing, I love her bangs, by the way. Her bangs were a big deal to me. I'm like, oh, this is where she is, to college, and then professional, workplace, all of those memories. They're all talking about memories. That's how Sanjay remembered her. Memories are powerful. I do believe that. Now, obviously, we are in a time travel story, so it's fantasy, but that's another reason why I did well. The escapism that we needed was this. You got to be like, I'm in a time travel story, which we know can't really happen, but to see it reflect back and seeing how powerful someone can remember somebody, that is all true. That's all related to research that you can. That's why some patients will write a notebook. You remember the Notebook, right? The famous Nicholas Sparks. This is a US-based book. But all of that is true. If you're writing things, you want to be remembered. You want to remember those memories by reading it. Very powerful. And you know how accurate that is. So I think that's really, really why the whole thing about the nostalgia for me was a big deal. And not like I study nostalgia, but I just know that it really brings out a powerful recollection of your emotions and the positivity you felt of, like, for instance, me being a stay-at-home mom. Like, I recalled that. It was crazy at the time, but I recall fondness. Do you also know that nostalgia, even though the time was difficult, like raising 4 kids at one point where I didn't even know what day it was, I don't remember the bad parts where, I don't know, like running around and being sleep deprived. I don't remember that. So when we think of nostalgia, we also tend to remember the good. Again, if you remember the bad, you can reframe that because you cannot change the past, but certainly you can change how you view the past, going, this was a bad event, but you know what? It has led to this. There are things where I had some bad recollections that people say, why would you bring K-dramas into your work? Yes, I shared that. Yes, people said that, and I was like, that was unpleasant, where it made me feel bad. And then I went, oh, well, Nuna's Nunchi Tours wouldn't be here today, right? If I had followed that advice. So I recall that maybe unpleasant circumstances of a situation or conversation with colleagues in a different way and reframed it. So I wanted to bring that up. I'm going to look for your questions. That's the main thing I wanted to get across about the nostalgia. And then the fact that I want to share this. So their whole connection and it being about love, we got to see 2 perspectives. Hers, which is, writers are mainly female. So I do bring that up. Very important to know a female writer sharing the female perspective. And when I say female perspective, people are saying that's literal. No, not just from Soul's perspective. He shared from his perspective, and we saw it through beautiful lenses of like love and how much he was dedicated to her. That is why people resonated. They're like, you know what? And yes, maybe they're thinking you could get really realistic going, how realistic is this? But realistic is, sure, someone could be head over heels in love with somebody. I see it all the time, really. Some of it can be unhealthy, but in a K-drama, you're seeing that display from Sanjay that women absolutely adored. So we got to see his perspective, a lot of gems, right? And then also the fact that as it's written from the female perspective, I really love the fact that Imsol got to live out her dream. And I think I very much identify with that. You are still your own person, and he respected that in such a cute way. I don't think I did as much laughing in the last, I laughed so much is what I'm saying, the last 3 episodes, because it was so funny to see them enjoy their relationship. People wanted more, but I really loved that she got to live out her dream of being this film director and do this, right? And then have the fairy tale that she wanted, or that we believe that she needed, right? I grew up with a gold color clock like in Lovely Runner. I'm going to ask my dad if he still has it. Yeah. So isn't that funny how different belongings have different meanings of Chong, whether it's a blanket or I was trying to think of the yellow umbrella was also in Business Proposal. The red umbrella was in Something in the Rain, but it makes you recall that. Colors are really powerful. Another thing is, I think it was the writer or the director shared about how they were really into, I think the US word would be cinematography, but how they really filmed the scenes and brought out those colors, fading certain things. All of that technicality, if you follow all that, is really important too to the drama. And the fact that it went through it was on pause for a long time. Do you know the background of that? People didn't want to play Sanjay. So we found the right person to play it, right? And I'm so glad to see the success. He's plastered everywhere. Like I'm getting better at being like, oh, there he is again. Oh, there he is again. Instead of me videotaping everything. But it's really neat to see that and I did get to the pop-up store, but yeah, it's not like I have any special preference. I was like, oh, can I sign up? And the guy's like, yeah, like, hello, you should have been here overnight. He goes, it's like all sold out, the queue. And I was like, oh, but I could still see it. So you guys saw some of the video I took. I got to see the pop-up. So cute. And I do love that about Korea. Really doing that, jumping on the bandwagon that is so popular. It was not a mainstream K-drama like on Netflix. So that's another thing to point out. It did very well. But that nostalgia, don't underestimate that. Recalling those memories from the past can change how you look at your current situation and the future. Like how you view what's, for me, my case of momness, which seems so long ago, but it wasn't. But then where I am today, the nostalgia is like, oh my gosh, it was so much easier back then where I didn't have to make these tough decisions. I just had to decide what time the kids were napping. And I make fun of that, but that's the nostalgia. But it brings back, again, the emotion is here. We think it's up here, but it's not. You are led actually a lot here. And I actually say this in workplaces. How you lead as a leader, it's actually here. You're trying to say it's up here and going, yeah, I'm going to think this through. But you have to balance it with your emotions for it to be a wise decision. Rational, emotional, they all combine together. Don't just be rational, which I tend to see in certain cultures like Korea. It's not going to work. At the end of the day, you'll feel some conflict or even a crisis, identity crisis, when you just go with rationale. So that's my strong belief as a mental health expert, that you need to bring the emotion. It actually humanizes you, makes you more authentic. And at the end of the day, people will buy into that if you actually believe in what you're doing, right? Instead of saying, hey, we're going to do this because it makes business sense. And I've seen it live and I'm like, they're not going to do that. No wonder they don't feel safe, right? So that's Lovely Runner. Okay, I'm going to pause there because I'm late for another call. Let's see. Anybody else have any questions before I go? Their love team, you know what? They got to go on a vacation. Do you know they got a reward vacation, or they're going to? That's huge. So that acknowledgement is really big, and they do that here. And I think that's awesome. Oh, thank you for that. Yes, the OST. So I did a reel recently on the power of OST because it was brought up on my book events. Music is very powerful, part of the nostalgia. Hence, my grandmother, I was sharing with you just at this big family reunion in 2012. Oh yeah, so she was alive in 2012, so it was after that. 2013 was her death, and she sang this song perfectly. It was not even in Korean and English. I believe it's Italian. And we were just like, she's recalling that. And you could see the emotion, and that's why I'm sharing that with you. Music is very powerful. So isn't it great that the OST hit box office records? Spotify records, music records. I think that's amazing. You know, the pre-order sales is like literally, they said breaking history. Like people ordering the OST ahead of time, which I'm also going to get, right? And be old school in that sense and get my hands on it. Because it's precious, because these OSTs, the way they package them are so pretty. Like you just looking at the actual poster board. And again, the nostalgia of watching the K-drama, even though it was just a week ago, there's nostalgia there because it's past, right? So really important. Yay, and I'm having fun with this Hanok. I'm going to say goodbye. Oh, sorry for the team that I'm late for this call. I'm having so much fun with you guys. And I know it'd be great to see Eclipse. There's rumors of that, but I don't know. The Workplace series, yes, we'll be ready. You'll know. I'm trying to record the first one this weekend. But apparently I have to record other things, like for the publisher and stuff. Everybody wants me to record something. FYI, just so you know, you do know that I don't like recording. Yeah, I'd rather go live. I'll go live in front of 1,000 people than me record, and I'll make a mistake live. I'd rather do that, but I have to record some things first under a deadline, and then I'll record the Workplace series, and I'll do it on the fly. So again, emotion-based. The reason why I wanted to wait a little bit, because I'm very emotional about this Workplace, a little still fiery, a little bit still feisty about things, because I'm still living it. So I have to put on a smile and be, I would say, professional, but also be firm and be taken seriously. Because at one point I learned, oh my goodness, they see my outgoingness and I guess the pleasant nature that I can give off, and I gave off a little too much of that vibe. So you can be taken advantage of is what I'm trying to say. And that's how I felt, being taken advantage of. And so that's not going to happen anymore. You can't have that happen if you want to protect your brand and your company for the future. And I really believe what I'm doing with the tours and everything surrounding it. So it's really important. I appreciate your support. I'll be doing that, and it'll be on as many platforms as you can see. So thank you for that. Hello, you guys. Everybody from my September inaugural tour, October, April tour 1 and April tour 2. Love you guys very much. I do keep in touch with as many. If you DM me, yes, keep in touch, okay? WhatsApp, do it. And so that's the advantage you have. And of course, that's the other thing. People are like, okay, have some boundaries. But you know what? Someone told me that you got to have boundaries with people. I go, I know how to have boundaries, and you'll know if I don't reply back or have to, you know what I'm saying? So nobody needs to tell me about boundaries. If I want to respond to you, I will. And you don't need to feel bad if I'm responding to you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this very long live, and I will see you again soon. Appreciate you guys. Bye.